We've got a lot coming up in prime time tonight in terms of our Olympic coverage and things that we want to watch for. But of course, Anne-Marie is keeping a nice pulse on what we have to look forward to. So we're ready to plan out our day in the morning. In the meantime, we're going to get you caught up on your weather and traffic and let you know what you're stepping out to today.
Yeah, a little bit warmer out there today. Not much, still February in Indiana, but the sunshine, the slight warmer temperatures. It's kind of a gradual spring feel.
Yeah, a little taste of spring. Of course, spring's not here yet.
No, not
Winter's
yet.
not done. But we'll take any kind of spring-like weather
Yeah.
that we can. Warmest day in 3 to 4 weeks across
Soak it
central
up.
Indiana. About a month
Love
for some
that.
of us. Let's show you how warm you'll get throughout the day today. I wanted to start, though, with our snowpack. We're still covered in snow across Indiana, but we've been seeing that outer edge melt. Now, Lindsay and I were looking at the Indianapolis airport. We've melted 2 inches yesterday. We're going to continue melt today because of the sun. Warmer weather than even yesterday. Even yesterday, we hit 41 in Indianapolis. Today, we're going to go with a high of 50 degrees. So it'll be about 10 degrees warmer. There'll be a light south wind out there. That helps to melt things too. So expect a couple more spots of grass to start to appear throughout the day today. Look at the warmth to our west. Now, some folks out west and to our southwest could get into the 60s and 70s. I think that's going to be a little tough for us. But expect 40s and 50s today across central Indiana. Right now, we're mainly clear. We're at 32 here in the city. We're right at freezing. You know, yesterday morning, we're starting in the low 20s, so we're already 10 degrees warmer to start. That starting position's been moved up even further for us. But we're talking about a lot of 30s on the map this morning from north to south. Couple 20s. We've seen them in Avon and Brownsburg. We've seen them in Richmond and Connorsville and Greensburg throughout the morning. But a lot of us in the 30s, 26 in Bloomington. But 26 that's Bloomington, we may double that temperature. I think we're headed to the low and mid 50s for some of us around the campus of IU. The farther south and west you go, the warmer that you're going to get today. Coming up, we'll let you know how long lasting this warmth will be. Lindsay?
Yeah, alrighty, here we go at 6:02 this morning, and I want to take you back to the north side because this is some new information, and it's good information that we just got from NDOT yesterday. Here's a look at 465. This is Ditch Road. Remember, they recently redid this bridge, but they've been redoing the bridge just to the west of there at Township Line Road, and this has been closed since this past summer. It was scheduled to reopen at some point this spring, but we did get word that they're going to be opening up this bridge a little ahead of schedule later on this week. But they're still going to have to do some work to the underneath side, so there will be some lane restrictions to do so as we go through next week. So coming up next Monday and Tuesday, 465 westbound will have a couple lanes closed overnight, and then next Wednesday and Thursday, the eastbound lanes will have some restrictions. But some good news there from the north side, guys.
Lindsay, thank you. Well, this morning, new court documents are shedding some light into the Haley Busby case.
These documents outline how she and the suspect in this case, 39-year-old Tyler Thomas, met on an app called Session. And now state lawmakers are looking into how apps like that one could have more protections. Anna Chalker is live this morning with more on an amendment that's supported by Haley's parents. Tell us about that, Anna. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. Well, Haley's parents actually testified in front of the House Education Committee on this amendment, saying how important it is for so many Hoosier families. And those lawmakers who listened, they were physically moved by the message and saying now is the time to get the ball rolling on these changes. And one of the ways they're looking to do this is on Senate Bill 199. That would tweak some education policies. It would require kids 16 and younger to have verified parental permission to sign on to a platform. And under the proposed amendment, the platforms could not share or market data about how teens are using them. And Haley's family says those protections are necessary.
The internet and social media are the devil's and predators' playgrounds. And it's on this front that we must fight. I understand that the amendment as it stands today may not be in its final form, but I beg of you, please do not let this opportunity slip away.
The other bill her parents are supporting and backing in the State House, House Bill 1303. It would expand the discretion police have to issue Amber Alerts when they believe a child may be enticed to leave home. This is being heard in the Senate Corrections and Criminal Law Committee today around 9 o'clock. And like we've mentioned, the app that's around the conversation with Haley Busby's case is called Session. It's an encrypted messaging app with a lot of privacy behind it. So coming up, we'll walk you through this app, what it looks like if someone were to download it. and why child safety advocates are saying that this actually causes more harm, and that load of privacy is actually dangerous for kids.
So important to know what to look for. We'll check in with you soon, Anna. Thank you.
Well, a man has been sentenced to 7 decades in prison for a police chase that ended in a crash that killed a baby girl and her little brother.
It was last February when this crash happened near US 40 and Ronald Reagan Parkway in Plainfield. 3-year-old Eris and his 2-month-old sister Iris were killed, and their father was seriously hurt.
Police were chasing Sidoni Pettis in a stolen car. He was driving nearly 90 miles an hour at the time of the crash. Pettis pleaded guilty to the charges against him last month.
And the judge sentenced Pettis to 74 years. Pettis says he intends to appeal, and he has 30 days to file. A woman shot during a police chase is going to prison. 28-year-old Ariana Morris was pregnant at the time of the shooting as the getaway driver when her then boyfriend, Rictez Williams, robbed an Indianapolis dollar store in September of 2023. Police say during the chase, Williams shot at officers who shot back, killing Williams. The judge sentenced Morris to 3.5 years in prison plus probation.
Well, we are learning prosecutors believe a little girl who died suffered more abuse than they originally thought. Kinsley Welty died of starvation in 2024 at just 5 years old. Her mother, Toni McClure, seen here in court, is accused of her death. And now the state has amended the charges against her to say the abuse began all the way back in 2021. Prosecutors are still seeking life without parole. Right now, the trial is delayed until June. Well, a deadline is approaching at Indiana BMVs, and soon IDs will be required to reflect a person's sex that's assigned at birth.
No changes, and this is sparking some concern for some Hoosiers. Marina Silva explains why some families say that they're concerned about this change. Good morning.
Well, good morning, ladies. We're just 2 days away from that change. So if you have a driver's license or a state ID, come Thursday, if you go to the BMV to get the gender markers changed on it, you won't be allowed to, because that's when the BMVs say they're going to start following a state law that was recently changed. Now, this comes after that change in the state law, as well as an executive order from Governor Mike Braun. It's a change that didn't have a lot of publicity to it. Instead, a bright orange notice on the website. The BMV says they posted that notice on February 3rd. Some families are worried about what this change is going to do to people.
I hear a lot about her being a social contagion or her being mentally ill. That's heartbreaking. We're with her every day.
Attorney General Todd Rokita is praising the change. He released a statement saying biological sex is an immutable fact, not a feeling to be rewritten on government documents. Our office has fought hard to defend the same principle on birth certificates, blocking attempts to falsify records and ensuring they reflect reality, not ideology. Now, this rule is already finalized. The BMV officials tell us they did hold public comment about this. Again, this happens on Thursday. This is no matter whether or not you have a court order or a doctor's note. Ladies.
All right. Thank you, Marina.
Well, the city of Indianapolis says the site of the old heliport downtown is still prime real estate for a Major League Soccer stadium.
It's been a while since we've heard any real update, months really. You may remember these are the first plans for this massive $1.5 billion soccer stadium. They wanted to build this on the southwest side here, and they shared these renderings. The city first backed this plan, but then withdrew support, with the mayor expressing interest in building it at the old heliport property instead.
The Indianapolis Airport Authority closed the heliport in 2020, so now it's really up to the FAA to decide if it will close permanently. And now they're seeking public comment. Indy 11 co-owner Chuck Sirac, who also owns a helicopter chartering company, says that's because there's interest in the site.
We have cities all over the country now that are building these as fast as they can build them, and here Indianapolis is tearing theirs down.
The city has said keeping it open for private interest doesn't really serve the public, but as far as turning it into a stadium, The Indy 11 owner says that plan died when the idea of the soccer stadium event also went away.
Johnson Memorial Health is closing its maternity care center soon.
This means it will no longer offer OB services. The hospital CEO says the hospital loses $2 million a year when they offer those services. He also blames low insurance reimbursement rates and rising costs.
Indiana Medicaid reimburses the hospital for 57% of the cost of this kind of care, while Medicare reimburses 82%.
That's 70% of all our business. So just think about that from a business standpoint. 70% of the service we provide, we don't even get a full percentage cost to cover the cost.
If you're an expecting mom and you receive care here, Johnson Memorial Health says they'll work with you over the next few months to transfer your care to another hospital. There is no exact date yet on when it'll close, though. Right now, Indy DPW crews are working to get rid of that snow around drain storms, or storm drains, I should say, as we're getting ready for a major meltdown. They shared some pictures with us on social media saying that the effort will make sure that rain and the melting snow can flow freely as these temperatures finally rise in the coming days. We've been waiting on this for a while, Matt.
We've been waiting. As soon as it popped up on that 10-day forecast, we've been eyeing this Tuesday. I tell you what, we're mainly clear out there this morning. There's nothing going on the radar. We're headed near 50 degrees. Some of us warmer, some of us a little cooler. Warmest day in a month. We're back in 2.
Let's peek in on the Olympic cauldron with the flames still burning nicely in the middle. Olympic gold is on the line later today for Team USA.
So coming up from Milan Cortina in Italy, our Anne-Marie Tiernan joins us with what we should be watching out for today on day 4 of the competition.
Tonight at 7, we're taking you on a journey to Italy.
I want to share the story of the most famous puppet in the world. So during our Olympic pre-trip, we visited this small village in the Tuscany region. This is the home of Pinocchio, but it's not the image of the wooden boy that you and I know. We'll tell you how Pinocchio has been carved into the culture of Italy.
Plus, no trip to Italy would be complete without a look at the works of Leonardo da Vinci. But it turns out there's so much more to Da Vinci than what you may realize, the talents he had beyond art. And we'll also share the highlights of the day's top Olympic competition.
All coming up tonight at 7 on A Journey to Italy.